I find it funny that we were talking about GeForce on the last podcast, saying how, I kind of want to ride it again. Looks pretty weird. And then it closed.
Yeah.
Closed 3 days later.
You see, what we need to try out is we need to talk about a very specific ride at Great Adventure and see if that closes in a week's time.
Yeah. Let's talk loads about
Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro, yeah. Make sure we do that.
Alright, are you going to do the intro?
Yeah, I can do the intro.
Go on then.
Alright, this is episode 1 of the Decent Thrills podcast.
We're now out of beta, or beta, however you pronounce it.
Yeah. The last episode, we got some pretty good feedback on the last episode from Immersive Memes. Said he enjoyed it very much. So thanks, Jake, for that one.
Yeah, we had a lot of people retweeting our thing on Twitter. We had some comments on YouTube, and I'm glad people like it. I mean, I was expecting a lot of things to crop up.
Yeah.
And anything that has cropped up, we have actually already tried to address. One of the things was the audio. Last time we kind of winged it and just recorded a Discord call, but now we're actually recording it on both of our ends, and it'll sound a lot better.
Yeah, we're recording our own audio now.
So hopefully that'll make hopefully that'll make a difference.
Yeah, our last podcast got 165 views as well, which
not bad for a brand new thing. Yeah,
it's probably because we plugged the shit out of it on every single social media. So,
oh well,
that's fine though. That's fine. It worked. We got the views. Let's see if we can continue it into this one. So
how do you want to start this one? Should we start with like the well, actually, you're the one who's technically got to start this, because this was your trip.
This was originally, really. So we're going to start, hopefully over the next few episodes, kind of hopping between topics, talking about the trip that me and Tom took to America. We did a kind of East Coast roller coaster trip. Yeah, God, it started... I mean, I'm fairly new to this community, and I was kind of seeing, I'd only been on the rides in the UK, and I was like, God, I want to get out somewhere. I want to go on some big rides or something like that. So I was like, oh, where do I go? And I was looking at parks everywhere. I was thinking about Phantasialand. I was thinking about Leesburg. And I was talking to people in the Reddit, the r/rollercoasters Discord. There's a lot of Americans in there. And I was like, I wonder if I could go to America and maybe tag along with some of my American friends around some of the parks. And I was in a call with Max, a guy from the Coaster Studios Discord originally. And I just casually mentioned, I kind of want to go to Virginia. I guess, there's 2 pretty good parks there, Busch Gardens and Kings Dominion. I was like, yeah, that seems nice. And he was like, oh, I'd love to take you around there. Oh, that'd be great. So, we started talking in DMs, and we sort of started building up a kind of East Coast trip around those 2 parks. I was like, I kind of want to go to Hershey Park as well. And he was like, oh yeah, I've never been there. We could go there. And I was like, actually, Six Flags Great Adventure's only 2 hours up the road from Hershey Park. And he was like, sure. And he was like, well, I've never been to Dorney Park before, so we could go there as well. And I was like, okay. And he was like, oh, and Six Flags America's literally 20-minute detour from Hershey Park, so we'll go there as well. And I was like, God, okay. So we racked up this list of parks that we wanted to go to. And we made it all work.
I remember you talking about this.
Yeah.
Because you brought it up in calls, and it was like, I'm just listening. Oh my God, you've like struck gold with this. I'd previously because I'd previously been to America once. I'd done a trip in California with one of my friends, the Codemaster. That was in 2016, and this was all being talked about in 2017. So I haven't been on a proper big trip in a while. Well, I say a while, I don't know, a year or anything. And Joel just started talking. I said, wow. That must be costing you a lot of money to do. And then, what was it you said?
I kind of just casually mentioned how much the flights were costing, and you were like, "Oh shit, that's not that much." And before
because my California trip cost more than the trip that Joel was doing and Joel was doing a lot more stuff on that trip than I ever did in California.
And then, before I knew it, we were we booked the flights together, and God,
yeah,
that was a scary night.
we hadn't even met each other.
We hadn't even met each other in person when we booked the trip, which is the wonders of the internet, I guess.
We met a few times before we went to America. Thankfully.
Yeah, we went. God, the first time was when we went to Towers and recorded that legendary vlog that was it was interesting. We went to Towers, everything was closed. It was depressing.
Yeah. And I didn't get to ride Wicker Man, which is like one of the reasons I went, because it snowed. That was a day. But yeah, we sort of got to know each other over the year. We did a whole big trip with some friends actually before the America trip.
Yeah, around the UK, which was fun.
Which you might talk about at some point, and maybe bring one of them on.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. If we do a podcast about Icon, definitely. So, as the trip was approaching, it got to about May time.
Yeah,
and
that was around.
Yeah, I was like getting a little bit. I was like I'd never booked flights before, let alone flights to I'd never even been to another continent, and I booked flights to another continent, and I was like, God, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I checked my email, and I had an email from Primera Air, which was the airline that we were flying to the States with. And I opened the email, and it said the words flight cancellation. And I was like, fuck, what the hell has happened? And we kind of panicked, and it was like, basically, our flight was originally going to be out of Birmingham Airport, and they cancelled because their Airbus delivery was delayed or something.
Yeah, and turns out that whole delivery issue ended up not turning out very well for the company. About 3 weeks after we got back from America, Premier Air went into administration.
Yeah, they literally collapsed, and
because of that delivery issue.
Yeah, that was scary. Like, about just over a month after we got back, to find out that the airline that we flew there with, which we had some issues with, they'd collapsed. So that was pretty scary. And I think our cancellation, it was fixed. They rescheduled. It
actually ended up being better.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
For us.
We rescheduled from London Stansted, which is Thomas's local airport, so
made things a lot easier.
It made things a lot easier, yeah. So I just went down to London to Stansted, and then we flew out from there. But that probably should have been a red flag to make us realise that. Yeah, it was a bit.
Just a bit of a side note, actually. Before the America trip, I'd done a family trip to Sweden, where I'd been at Lisbon for 5 days, and literally I got back from that trip. Was it 3 days before we set off for America?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Just because we booked the America trip before the Sweden one, and my family had to relocate it to like a certain point in time, and I was like, oh, we're going to be going there like just for the America trip. How close? 3 days.
Christ.
Oh.
Yeah.
If we hadn't been if we hadn't had the flight rescheduled to the other airport, I would have literally had to go straight to yours after getting back from Sweden.
Yeah, that's pretty lucky.
Yeah.
It was a blessing in disguise, really. It's also pretty funny that the first park we were doing, which we're going to go to later, was Six Flags Great Adventure, and you rode Boulder, which is an Intamin prefab.
Yeah, I rode Boulder at Leesburg, and I was not very happy with that. I mean, it was a fun ride and that, but like it didn't particularly blow me away, and I was just sort of looking at El Toro thinking,
you know what? You better not.
Yeah.
And then like 3 days after, you rode, literally like within the same week, you rode Boulder and El Toro within the same week, which is pretty...
It's crazy to think that happened, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, I mean, the flight itself, the travel itself, should we get to that? So we arrived to Stansted.
We got there quite early, and we got everything fine. I mean, there were literally no issues with it at all. We literally got everything checked in, got on the plane.
Very painless experience. Stansted's a really nice airport as well, and
yeah,
we got through everything, passport checks and everything, really easy.
Also, it was a direct flight as well, which sort of took a lot of ease off of me, because I know that a lot of people, to get to America, they do layover flights in Reykjavik, is it?
Reykjavik, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't need to do that for our Premier Air flight, because it turned out to be cheaper than a layover flight.
So it's about 7 hours, wasn't it? 7-hour flight.
Yeah, it was 7 to 8 hours, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, I like flying at this point. I've done it a few times, but it was the first time for you completely.
It wasn't a first time flight for me. I had flown to Germany.
Oh,
yeah, I'd flown to Germany years ago, before I was even into theme parks or anything. So we didn't do anything like Phantasialand back then.
Right, yeah.
Don't know if Phantasialand even had anything at that point. But yeah, it was about a 7-hour flight. We downloaded lots of TV shows and stuff to watch. We were going to watch Doctor Who together, but I couldn't get my splitter to work.
Yeah, Joel's headphone splitter broke right at the convenient moment, so that didn't happen.
Yeah, the flight, it was all right. We landed. I say one of the best things about that flight was as we kind of flew into Newark Airport, it takes this turn to face the runway as it goes in. And you look out the window of the plane, and we saw the entirety of New York City lit up at night. Literally
such a view.
Every major New York landmark, we could see it from the window of the plane. It was amazing.
And in the distance, we could vaguely see Coney Island as well.
Could you?
I could just about make out, the parachute tower.
Oh, okay.
I could just about make it out in the distance.
I didn't spot that.
It was literally this big red massive, luminous, and I was like, yeah, that's got to be it. Because, what else is going to be that close to the sea and lit up in that colour and be that tall?
Makes sense. I wish you'd pointed that out to me, because I didn't...
I did, but you couldn't see it in the end.
Oh, damn.
I think.
I don't remember.
Because we were quite tired by that point, weren't we? We'd been awake for quite a while.
Yeah, it was... We landed at about 11 o'clock-ish, 10, 11 o'clock in the evening.
US time.
Yeah, US time.
Which meant that we'd been awake for a long time.
A good few hours, yeah. I'd heard some horror stories about customs and passport checks at Newark. But I think because of the time of day that we flew in, it was pretty painless. We basically walked straight through.
There was literally no queue, and not to mention, all of the questionnaire stuff. They noticed that me and Joel were together. Joel went first, so he put in all of the travel. He sort of said why we were here. They didn't even bother asking me that, because they could just tell I was with you.
Oh.
So we literally just walked straight through. It was amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't nearly as intense and scary as I was told it was going to be.
I was a bit worried about it, because when I went to California... Patrick and his family, they live in California, so they went through the residence bit, and I looked over at where the non-residents go through, and that looked like an absolute nightmare of a queue, and that sort of made me quite worried, but it turns out it was fine.
Yeah, meanwhile the residence queue was the long one at
the residence queue was the long one at Newark.
So God, but the longest we waited was for our bags, which was the worrying part, because I'm
that was a scary one,
thinking oh God, did our bags make it? And I was like, I mean, obviously they did, but you worry about that kind of stuff.
Travel anxiety.
Yeah.
Especially if you're first time long distance away.
So I'd literally never been to another continent before. Yeah.
I think should we go on to one of the biggest memories of arriving?
I was going to say, so we arrived, it's 11 o'clock at night, it's dark outside, Yeah,
we said hi to Max, he met us in the airport.
We met our friend Max in the airport, and we walked out the doors into literal solid hot soup air at 11 o'clock at night.
It was it literally hit you like a brick. It was ridiculous.
It was so hot. I was like, God. And as soon as I walked through those gates, I was like, I am not ready for this heat.
Yeah, I mean, it had been, when I was in Sweden, it had been really hot over there. It had been beyond 30 degrees Celsius, which is insane for Sweden. So I was kind of expecting America to be like that. Oh no. Oh no.
It was God, it was bad.
The humidity just, it was literally, as one of our friends Sam puts it, swimming through air.
Yeah.
It's literally what it feels like.
It was 300% humidity or something fucking stupid. I really did not like that at all.
Yeah. I'm just glad that the hotel had air conditioning, honestly.
Yeah, I mean...
the one in Sweden didn't.
Yeah, we got to Max's car, and we had a nice little trip down to
the hotel.
Yeah, it was a Red Roof Inn. It's pretty cheap.
That was another thing. I was told by people that Red Roof is all cheap and nasty and not very good, and it's better than most of the cheap UK hotels.
It's
better
fine.
than a travel lodge. It's better than
the beds were
Holiday
comfortable.
Inn.
The beds were comfortable. It had air conditioning.
I wouldn't say it's as good as a Premier Inn or anything, but for the price, Jesus.
Yeah,
and that's considered a low tier hotel. It's just what on earth do they consider high?
Yeah, I think Max has a discount card because he booked all the hotels. Thank you, Max.
Yeah.
And he has a membership card for Red Roof Inn, so he was able to get some discounts on the hotels. And we had 4 nights in hotels, and the price for each of us, what was it about? It was about $100 each we had to pay in the end, which is nothing for 4 nights. $100.
It's
really good.
It was so helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Max.
Yeah,
It literally wouldn't have been possible without you.
Yeah. One of my memories is seeing a moth the size of my palm as we walked into the hotel. I was like, oh yeah, there's big insects here. Yeah, we slept in the hotel.
Well, yeah, we actually got to sleep well. Like, I was worried the jet lag was going to hit us because we had a park the next day. Even when I went to California, there was a whole chunk of a day that I'd put aside to try and get used to the time zone. But with this one, we were just going straight into a park. But no, we adapted to it pretty well. We were up at a decent time. Went out, went to the Wawa. Oh man,
the Wawa! You formed a bond with that place.
I love Wawa so much.
If you don't know what it is.
It's like a gas station, but they've got like their inbuilt. It's like a Subway, but with even more varied options, and the quality is better than Subway, I'd say as well.
Yeah, they do hot food. It's like you go to a service station, except it's everything under one roof. Everything's all the same company, so you can buy like your ready-made sandwiches that you get from like WH Smith's or M&S.
Well, that's what you got. You only got ready-made stuff. I went for the fresh meat hot food, and oh my god, just was it scrambled egg and bacon hoagie with a coffee in the morning?
Yeah, you had that every
breakfast,
day.
Yeah. Well, no, I had some different stuff for breakfast.
Oh yeah. No, I just went for cheap cold stuff.
That place was right near Great Adventure as well.
It was right next to Great Adventure. Yeah.
Once we'd had our food, we set off. And which we were attempting to vlog for trip. I wasn't too on board with it, mainly because I had a feeling that we'd run into the problem of we'd want to actually like experience and take everything in, not just film everything.
I did, but we did film.
We did film the intro to Great Adventure.
Yeah.
And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put up a card to that, which you can click on.
So, you drive up to Great Adventure, you go down the main road, you go up over the bridge, and you can't really see much. And then...
You can't see anything.
First, the water park comes into view, the Hurricane Harbour. You're like, oh yeah, that's the water park. And then you just start to see the top of King Dakar just kind of towering over.
It was kind of early in the morning, so it was a bit foggy as well. It looked really... intimidating and huge.
Bear in mind, the tallest coaster I'd seen prior to this was the big one at Blackpool, which I thought was pretty big at the time. To see King Dakar, which is more than double the height of that, it's like, holy fuck, it's massive. I was not expecting.
Not only car, you were looking around at all of the B&Ms in that park, noticing how tall they look compared to the ones in the UK. We've got nothing like. I mean, the closest to a tall B&M, quote unquote, in the UK is like.
The Swarm. I mean, the Swarm.
Yeah,
really.
The Swarm is like the closest we've got.
Yeah.
But, and that skyline was great. Like,
it does have a good skyline, yeah.
Like, it's not obviously it's a parking lot view, so it's not exactly like you're going into Thorpe Park and you can see all the theming and stuff. Well, I say theming, like a themed facade. It's literally just put on concrete, but it's just this. The view is great. And with King Dakar and El Toro in the back. Yeah, that's another thing. Toro looked really small.
Yeah, just because King Dakar's literally in front of it.
Yeah, Car just absolutely dwarfs it.
Yeah, it's such a shame because it's like one of the tallest wooden roller coasters in the world.
I think it's the tallest.
I think Wildfire's taller, actually. I think it's Wildfire and technically Goliath or something. I think Goliath has a longer drop or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and then
we queued up to get our passes, and this was easily the worst day for the heat out of the entire trip. It was very humid that day, and it was probably the worst of the whole trip. And I started like getting a bit of a headache from it, and I was really worried.
There was a middle point of the day where I kind of broke down. I could not cope with that heat. I would just sat there with my head in my arms, feeling sorry for myself. Like, God, this heat is draining me.
Yeah, it was really not good. I mean, I thought that Sweden was hot because I was struggling in Sweden, but no. Like, if you add humidity to that equation, it is just, if you're not used to it, you're gonna die.
But like, and I was thinking, like, I know people are gonna say like, oh, you know, you're Brits, you're not used to this heat, but the Americans we were with were struggling as well.
Yeah, the fact that they were struggling was kind of an indicator that this is not okay in any sense of the word.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than the heat, what were your kind of impressions of the park, The Great Adventure?
I was excited and extremely I was nervous for the wrong reason. I was nervous because I was worried I was going to come away thinking that it really wasn't that great because of all the, well, I say hype, all of like the build up I'd had to Car and Toro and kind of Nitro, I guess.
I mean, people consider this one of the best Six Flags parks as well. Some
Do they?
people, Taylor considered it as #1 for a while. I don't know if it is anymore.
Yeah. Okay, well we'll get into why that doesn't sound quite right later on, but
I will say Six Flags Great Adventure was one of the parks that kind of made me really appreciate Alton Towers a bit more. One
of the first things we saw when we walked into that park was was it the boardwalk it was called?
The boardwalk, yeah.
Or I don't even know what it was, but
it's
it was
the boardwalk,
just
the area around Green Lantern and Superman.
Oh
and
no! Oh no!
The slingshot, and there's a top spin with a Twix advert on it. It's really sad. Like,
it was so bad, and the thing is, I'd probably say it was worse than anything I ever saw at Magic Mountain and Discovery Kingdom, which were two Six Flags parks I've been to prior. It was bad. This was
the experience that made me realize, God, I fucking hate the Six Flags style of branding. I really don't like it. It's naff. Like, I don't like DC superhero themes that much. You know, every ride is Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, like Cyborg. I don't care for that. I much prefer Cedar Fair. Like, they at least go for original names and they try and theme their stuff a bit more. Like,
I'd say personally, I don't have too much of a problem with it. Like, it's not great. I'll give you that. It is quite cheap, lazy, and all that. But however, in general, I thought it was like, I don't think it's terrible.
No,
unless there's like an exception.
There were nice areas. The area around King Dakar is quite nice.
Well, the Golden, what's left of the Golden Kingdom.
Yeah, and the area around El Toro, Bizarro, Runaway Mine Train is all quite nice as well.
Yeah, the Runaway Mine Train bits I think are really all part of the park with the log flume.
Yeah.
Bizarro's area was also because you got, I think, the Golden Kingdom and that whole Spanish area around Torre, they were built with the rides at the time, and this is when Great Adventure was still, well, this is when they were still spending a lot of money on stuff, let's say, before they run into a small problem with that.
Yeah.
So you could tell that they definitely had tried with it when it was originally built. But especially in the case of the Golden Kingdom, there was so much abandoned shit everywhere. And like locked off stuff, and you could just tell that something was missing here.
There was like a small attempt at a zoo in between King Dakar and El Toro as well. There's like, they have some tortoises and like some tigers or something.
Markers by the tortoise.
Markers, yeah. The other bad area of the park is the area around Justice League and Cyborg. It's very flat concrete, bare bones kind of. Yeah. Not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah, the impression of the park itself, I did not like it that much, honestly.
If it
wasn't for the rides, it would probably be on level with Discovery Kingdom for me, honestly. And Discovery Kingdom is renowned as like one of the worst Six Flags parks. I mean, I didn't think it was too bad.
It was all right.
There are definitely parts. Yeah. There are definitely parts in Great Adventure that are better than Discovery Kingdom, and have places that are also worse than Discovery Kingdom. But
so should we go through some rides then?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we met up with a couple more friends in America.
So after we met up with Max, we went into the park with him.
Yeah.
And then we met up with Vinny and Andrew, who is the Coasterbot research guy. He's on some of the live streams. If you watch Coasterbot's live streams.
And we were just queuing up for King Dakar.
Yeah.
I was so, like, the anticipation was great on that.
We went straight to King Dakar. Everyone always said, you know what, you want to go to Car first because it could break down and you could never get on it. So we went straight to Car, and they said, they literally said to us, if you're only going to ride King Dakar once, make sure you ride it on the front row. So we were like, right, well, let's just get front row.
I was terrified.
I was scared
honestly.
as well, yeah. I will say, with King Dakar, with a ride that's that tall, it's marketed, it's the tallest ride in the world, it's massive, that height, it's not the height that gets you with this ride, it's all about that first launch, I think.
It is fantastic. A lot of people in America who've been on a lot of other launch coasters say that, Car's launch is terrible, it's not that great at all.
Well, people say it's rattly and rough, which I guess on the back row, we never got to ride on the back row, but we rode on the front, We only rode once, and we rode
fine.
in the front rows.
It was insane.
Yeah.
The sense of speed was ridiculous.
Towards the end of the launch straight, you really feel that speed. You're like,
you felt like your face was going to come off. By the end.
And then
you just went up.
You fly up the top. You get
the view over the top of everything. I'm kind of half glad there are. Okay, unlike Top Thrill Dragster, there are some trims at the very top of the top hat that do kind of slow you down when you go over the top. The reason that is so they could launch it at a quicker speed and not kill you on the return trip. If there's a wind issue, I think, or something.
Right. Okay.
No. That was it. They launch it at a faster speed to Dragster to reduce rollback frequency.
Oh, okay. Which is why Dragster rolls back more, I guess. Yeah,
the trim is basically to counteract that extra speed boost that you can sometimes get.
Yeah, and then you go into the massive hill.
I remember coming down the top hat, honestly, I loved the sustained positives going up and into the hill. The fact that you were going at that speed and you were feeling some pretty heavy positive forces was great. And obviously the hill doesn't really have much airtime, but just the view and the sense of speed was, it was an experience.
Yeah, and then you just go up, you fly into that hill, and then you hit the brakes. And
it's such a short ride. However, it's a lot better than something like Stealth, I'd say. I don't like Stealth that much, because I think it's a massive waste of momentum.
Right.
But with something like Car, where it's just top hat and a hill, like Stealth, but the thing is, the thing, you can't do anything with that momentum at the end of Car. Like, there is nothing you could do unless you trimmed the whole ride and made a really shitty combination of Intimidator 305 and Millennium Force and Maverick, as everyone seems to say. But it's so big and massive, and that launch just takes your breath away anyway, that you don't need more on Car. It does its job fine.
Yeah. It was so King Dakar, big thumbs up, loved it. And
there were some problems I had with it, and that was looking at the station and feeling very sad.
Yeah,
because
it has 4 stations and uses one of them. And when you hear, Top Thrill Dragster runs 5 trains and has amazing operations, King Dakar runs 2 trains and has 1 station of its 4 existing stations.
Yeah, thanks New Jersey, we love you.
Yeah. So
that's one of many things that the state of New Jersey ruined in that park is King Dakar. Second thing we're going to go on to next, because it was the next thing we rode. Oh boy. So after we came off King Dakar, we were like, wow, first American coaster, King Dakar, amazing. And like, all right, I can't wait to get on more now. And I think Vinny was just like, should we just go on Zumanjaro? It's right there. Yeah, because it was there, and I kind of wanted to get it out of the way, honestly.
Well, I was like, I thought, like, I get pretty scared by drop towers. Like, there's a video of me on Hangover at Winter Wonderland on my YouTube channel, and, like, I screamed on that ride. I was terrified. So, the thought of Zumanjaro, the tallest drop tower in the world, I was like, God, that's going to be terrifying. I had heard people say it was a bit forceless, but I was like, I mean, that height, just, like, holy shit.
Prior to that, I had been on Lex Luthor Drop of Doom at Magic Mountain. I really liked it. For multiple reasons. It had a massive fear factor due to it being on a really thin structure.
Yeah.
And Superman launches with the Lex Luthor operating, so there is a high chance of a tower shaking quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that really adds to it. And I thought the drop on Lex was pretty good when I rode it, and the view as well was pretty good. But then there was Zumanjaro, which So
I mean when we got to the top of the tower, I was like, wow, this view's amazing. And I realized, like, you know, people had told me it was forceless, and I was like getting a bit nervous for the drop anyway. And then it releases you, and my reaction to the drop was pretty much just, oh. It was like, wow, that drop is terrible. It's
exactly the same for me, especially compared to Lex. Like, I was quite let down.
Yeah, it feels like you're kind of gently floating down to the bottom, rather than...
It's like you got a parachute attached.
Yeah, rather than something like Apocalypse or Hangover, which force you down, and it's like a pretty intense drop. Like, this one, it's just like, oh, we're dropping now. Okay.
Not to mention, it's basically one of the reasons that King Dakar is handicapped now, because the state of New Jersey disallowed them running both at the same time, which is dumb.
It's a bit sad, yeah. And I think one of the reasons I found Hangover so scary is you're on like a single spike, which you know has been transported there and built overnight, basically.
I think that's another thing that added to why I was more scared on Lex Luthor compared to Car, because Car is a very beefy structure.
Yeah, you feel the tower feels very secure. It's like secured onto the massive structure of King Dakar. So it kind of removes a lot of the fear factor. And, the view is nice. You see all across the park. You see everything. But the drop is really nothing special at all.
Yeah.
It's not that good. And there's a huge walk as well. Along
it kind of... Thing is, though, Zimandjaro kind of set the scene for the next ride, for me at least, with the whole disappointment aspect, because...
Well, that wasn't the next ride that we went on.
Was it not?
No. So after Zimandjaro, we went on Green Lantern.
Oh shit, we did. Okay, yeah, you can cut all me out talking about fucking thingy then.
Yeah, so after Zimandjaro, we went to Green Lantern. I'd heard some horror stories about this coaster.
It's also commonly known as the Green Accident by a few people.
Yeah, Vinny, who we're with, hates this ride with a passion. He thinks it's terrible. And I was like, could it really be that bad? Bear in mind, the only stand-up I'd been on at this point was Shockwave, and I like Shockwave a lot. So I was kind of expecting, it can't be that bad. And honestly, I don't think it was that bad. But my problem that I had on Green Lantern was the heat, basically, because I was so drained by the heat at that point, and I was so dehydrated that I was graying out on the valleys, and every time I went through an inversion, you get the glare of the sun in your face, which means you have to close your eyes. It wasn't that pleasant. And because
when I went, I came off it with the complete opposite. I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was really fun, and I thought it was really good. I thought it got way too much hate, for definite.
I think it probably does. Yeah.
But I remember when I came off it, you came off like, no, I really didn't like that. And I was like, what, really?
It was just
I was quite surprised.
Because of my experience with the heat. If it wasn't hot as fuck and I wasn't dehydrated, I probably would have enjoyed it. But just because of the bad experience with the sunlight and the fact that I was graying out and dehydrated and shit, I didn't like it very much.
Yeah, some of the transitions of it were really fun, honestly. Too much hate. It's fine. It's fine, okay?
It's fine.
It's not the best thing in the world, I get it, but it's not exactly a bad coaster. I'd definitely go and rewrite it again.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
I don't exactly remember the order of what we did after Green Lantern.
We were supposed to do Superman, but that was closed.
It was broken at the time, broken down.
So we went to... I think this is where we went to Toro.
El Toro. Yeah,
because we've been putting it off for a little bit.
Because we wanted to make sure it was warmed up, because we'd heard it's pretty temperamental with how it runs. The hype was pretty high for me for this, because I was like, this was one of the big rides that I was really looking forward to on this trip.
Walking into the area and you hear the sound of the upstops and you just hear it thundering around the circuit at high speed. And it sounded and looked a lot more enticing to me than Boulder ever did.
Because it's huge. Certain. Once you get close to it, you realise how fucking huge it is.
El Toro is a fucking unit of a coaster.
It's massive.
It's dense. Yeah. That's what makes it look bigger.
So, God, we went second to back.
Oh, actually, something else I want to bring up before this is El Toro was our second, actually, encounter with the loose article policy.
Oh, God, it was. Yeah, the lockers.
We had it on Car as well. We kind of brushed it. We kind of didn't mention it. But on Toro, I found it more annoying because we had to do it. We had to do it a few times since we rode Toro a few times.
Yeah.
But on King Dakar and El Toro, you have to submit your items into a locker, and they have somebody at the entrance who basically checks to make sure that you haven't got anything on you. And if you are seen with something on you in the station, you are basically kicked off the ride. Yeah. And you have to requeue.
Luckily, El Toro was... didn't have a long queue. Nothing had a long queue here, actually. Most things were station weight, which was nice.
So literally, we just got... paying for it's a bit annoying. I see why they do it. I'm not really going to get too much into that because it's just a whole can of worms. But yeah, you had to pay for lockers. It's something you don't have to do over here at all. There's usually something in the station you can put your items into.
Yeah. I really don't see why the ride doesn't just have that. But I guess they really want to stop people trying to take their phones on the rides, which is fair enough.
I mean, don't even dare. If they've tried using the capacity excuse, not just laugh, because that's going to make a difference at this point.
Yeah, because that ride does eat people up by the looks of it.
Yeah. We went for back row. Was it our first
back row? Yeah.
I was sitting next to Vinny. Now, Vinny is a massive fan of El Toro.
Yeah.
Well, and he really likes it.
Yeah, so that was the kind of the turning point. That was not the turning point. That was your kind of, you know, thing with him. Like, you really wanted to like it, and Vinny was like, you know, the lift hill on this ride. This was my first cable lift. Was it your first cable lift?
I'm going to say yes. I could be wrong though.
But yeah, that lift hill is, I mean, that's a fast lift hill. Like, obviously we went on things later in the trip that had faster lift hills than that, but that was our first experience, and we were
it really kicks into gear.
It throws you up that lift hill, yeah.
It's so high up, and you're up there quicker than most coasters in the UK are, and they're much shorter. So
you get to the top, you can look over, you can see the remains of Great American Scream Machine sitting in the safari. You can see
you slowly turn around, and you just see the car park and everything else in the park
towering over you and dwarfing the fucking thing.
And then you just get absolutely, well...
You do get pulled down that drop, and I was out of my seat in that first drop. Like, it throws you out of your seat. There's some strong airtime on that drop.
I was out of...
it was definitely... Come on, it was definitely strong airtime on that drop.
It was airtime. It wasn't strong airtime.
I think it was.
Me. Let's put it this way. I thought that Helix had better airtime than Toro did at that point in time.
Yeah, so obviously the first ride was...
not that great.
Was a little bit underwhelming.
Vinny knew it wasn't that great because he sort of like turned to me at the end of the ride with that face of like he knew, no. And I just looked at him and just did the fucking finger against the throat thing at him because like the amount of hype he'd given this, and I just had.
Well, Vinny was saying a lot to me like, "Oh, I think you're not gonna like it. I really don't think you're gonna like Toro that much," and. Yeah, but we came back to it later in the day after it had warmed up, and it really did. It really did.
It improved. It really did improve with time. And I moved it up a lot.
Towards the end of the day, El Toro was pretty
but
amazing.
That first ride really, that was very close to leaving a very, very, very sour taste in my mouth. But thankfully, it improved later, so everything got better.
So El Toro, once it's warmed up, is fucking great. Honestly, like.
It's in my top 10.
Yeah, it's definitely in mine. Yes. I think it's my number 6 now, which is probably a bit controversial.
It's quite low for me, but that's only because I like a lot of personal favourites over it. And it was above Icon at one point, but then I moved it down after a certain encounter at another park later on.
But kind of, I was kind of wanting, I was thinking like, oh, this could be the Icon beater, because Icon was my number 1 at the time. And even after the really good rides, I was like, I don't think it quite beats Icon for me.
The problem with Toro is that it's just airtime.
Well, I don't think it is, right? So you've got the first section with the massive camelbacks, which, that is all airtime.
Yeah, the camelbacks are really good sustained airtime, yeah.
So you got the first 2 camelbacks, which are great sustained airtime, and then the return trip. There's not as much airtime on the return trip. Kind of back.
Well, yeah, you've got that really drawn out hill, but you've got the Rolling Thunder
Hill. And then
you
turn to the Rolling Thunder Hill, which is possibly the strongest airtime moment I've felt on a ride. It really fucking yokes
I'm going to make
you
you eat those words in my next podcast.
Okay. Maybe. But I think that was pretty fucking strong airtime. Like, it does throw you. And then after that...
It was good airtime, yes. But I couldn't help but feel a little bit disappointed because of the amount of people who come to me and said, oh, the RMCs you've been on in the US before, their airtime on that's not that great. There are much better rides in the US that have better airtime in that, and they listed El Toro as one of the examples. So coming off El Toro, thinking, oh, the airtime wasn't even that... Was it even better than the other RMCs I did? Not really. And that kind of sort of set a bit of a precedent for a lot of the airtime-centric rides in the US.
I think we have to agree to disagree on that one, because I thought it was fucking great, honestly.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good, but I couldn't help but feel a little bit overhyped by the US community on it by quite a lot.
So, I think after the Rolling Thunder Hill, that's the section that kind of, the twister section at the end is the bit that kind of makes you go, oh yeah, I'm riding an Intamin. Because that is like, I thought it was pretty snappy and intense, that twist section at the end.
Yeah, twist section's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Honestly, now that I think about it.
It was a lot more aggressive. It felt a little bit rougher than the rest of the ride as well, actually, which...
bang, bang, bang. Yeah, there is a slight jackhammer on the wheel seats on one of the trains, but
I never rode a
it wasn't
wheel seat,
exactly.
I don't think.
It wasn't exactly terrible. It was fine. Like there are much worse rough rides out there.
Yeah. So El Toro, it never quite beat Icon for me. I was thinking if we got a night ride on El Toro, it probably would have, but we didn't get night rides in the end, which we'll get into later.
So the next coaster by
I don't remember exactly
production,
now, but yeah, we'll just kind of.
We definitely went over to Nitro after this.
Did we? No.
Yes.
Well, shall we go around to the rides near El Toro? Because I'm pretty sure we did Bizarro afterwards.
Did we?
We did. We definitely did.
No, we did do Bizarro afterwards. My memory is all over the place.
So yeah, because they're like right next to it. So Bizarro, there's not really much to say about this ride.
It's a B&M that's very average, and that's about it.
Also, it has 3 trains. That is the most pointless use of 3 trains I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like, it could run
3
2.
train stacking, and you are held on the third. You are like stacked by 2 trains, and you're still waiting there for a while.
Bearing in mind it's hot, and you're sat on that brake run. We only rode this once, but it's one of the most forgettable coasters. It was not very forceful at all. The only thing I do remember, which I quite liked, was there were some fire effects that went over.
Oh yeah, they were actually on, weren't they?
We got some fire effects, which was pretty nice.
I literally can't. Well, I can kind of remember Bizarro. It's the exact same experience I had with Scream at Magic Mountain, where I rode it once. I said, yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, I just instantly forgot it.
Yeah.
Like, I rarely ever... I keep forgetting that Scream is at Magic Mountain, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
they're literally the same thing, but mirrored. I was told that Bizarro was the better version.
I mean, it's definitely got nicer scenery.
With the effects and the scenery, yes, but like the actual coaster itself, it's the same thing. It's not really that forceful. The transitions are not snappy at all. It's very basic and by the book. It's not bad. It's just painfully average, really, for a B&M especially.
Yeah. Runaway Mine Train.
Pretty interesting little coaster.
Yeah, I remember feeling guilty because we accidentally left Max behind. We all sort of ran onto the train, like, oh, it's open, the gates are open, let's just quickly run on.
I was so confused because I was like, wait, we got to wait for Max, and then I was just sort of dragged on by someone. So,
yeah, we all just got on, and then we realised that Max couldn't get a seat. The air gates closed before Max got on. I felt so bad. So I remember just going around the entire ride feeling really guilty. I literally felt like Will in the In-Betweeners on fucking Nemesis Inferno, where he makes fun of those Down syndrome people, and then he sits on the ride feeling really guilty and awkward for the whole thing. That's how I felt on Runaway Mine Train after that.
Yeah, Runaway Mine Train it was an okay arrow. It
had an airtime moment, which surprised me.
Yeah, that was the only. Well, there are 2 things that I liked about that ride. One was that little strange like bump of airtime where you just get absolutely launched up in like an instant second.
Yeah.
And also the turn over the river.
Yeah,
was pretty interesting.
Over the little river. Yeah, that was nice. Yeah.
Oh no! After this, we definitely did Nitro because we took the cable car.
Yeah, we took the Skyway to Nitro.
God, that park needs that Skyway because, good lord, it is one of the worst park layouts possible. The entrance is in the middle and everything is just spread out on either side, but there's nothing in the middle at all, apart from like a couple things.
Yeah. So Nitro, after the horrendous 3 train operations on Bizarro, Nitro's 3 train operations are insane.
No stacking. Literally dispatching a train the second a train clears the lift hill. I was stunned.
They're mental, those Nitro ops. They're so fast. Yeah.
I'm just amazed. And they were like, there was literally no wait for that ride at all. They were just pumping those trains
2
out.
little things about the experience. One, there's a massive fucking, I think it's a Snickers advert on the station, which, not a fan of that really. And 2, the famous station music.
Oh, that was great. That was a jam.
I mean, it's like when you talk to Americans about station music, like over here we've got so much good rides with station music. Like you've got Nemesis, you've got Oblivion, you've got Wicker Man, you've got Icon. They all have great soundtrack, great station music. Meanwhile, in America, you've got you've got the Nitro station music and the Millennium Force station music, and then it's like, yeah. they're the ones that people talk about. And Nitro station music, it's very strange.
It's so corny, but I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nitro was my first B&M hypercoaster because I've not been on Silver Star or Shambhala.
Second.
Yeah.
It was my second.
You've been on Shambhala.
I've been on Shambhala.
Yeah.
Nitro surprised the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
I had so many people telling me that it was mediocre garbage, but like it was running really well that day.
Yeah, Vinny said Nitro was running the best he'd ever seen it. So yeah,
pretty decent sustained airtime over the hill.
Really
The
nice
drop in the back row was really
yeah.
fun. I liked the turns. Well, like the ones where like they're half hill, half turn, because you actually kind of got launched sideways a bit. Obviously nothing on the level of like Skyrush folding, but you got some lats going over those in the outer rows.
Yeah, really nice airtime.
Yeah, turnaround rode really well, and the helix into the mid course was.
Yeah, this was another part of the day where we started to get horribly dehydrated, and all of us almost blacked out on that helix, I think.
Yeah, it was not okay. The fact that I was close to blacking out on that should. I mean, I don't even black out on I-305, so. It was pretty bad. It was very bad.
We were all like someone was making fun of me for almost blacking out on Nitro, but we all almost blacked out on Nitro that day.
It was running really well, and the hills on the return trip as well. They were giving some pretty good.
Yeah, even like after the mid course, like the mid course obviously does remove some speed. One of the things I liked about Nitro is it doesn't have any trims. Like
it does, but it wasn't on.
Well, yeah, it doesn't. But like. Compared to the other two B&M hypers we did, which a trim going up the top of an airtime hill is quite anticlimactic, and I'm not a fan of it. And Nitro doesn't do that, or it didn't do it when we were riding it. So this was my favourite. This is my favourite B&M hypercoaster of the three I've been on. I think it's great. It's really good. Probably my second favourite in the park.
Yeah, it really surprised me, and I'm glad that we were able to re-ride it so much, because it's one of those things that's really re-rideable.
It's perfect.
Like it's not rough. It's really smooth. You got some great forces. It's just fun. It's just pure fun and re-rideability. It's probably. I can see why people don't like it if it was running slow.
I definitely don't think it should score above I-305 in the golden ticket awards, which it does.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes Nitro. Batman the Ride.
I think that's. Is that the big rides? Oh no, we still have Batman.
There's still a few. I'm just going around the park on Google Maps. There's quite a few we haven't done yet. Batman the Ride. This is I'm a B&M invert fan. Like I love some good B&M inverts, and honestly, Batman is probably my least favorite of the 7 inverts I've done now.
Yeah, that surprised me a lot. Honestly,
the main things I remember about this ride was horribly slow operations, stacking, and I was pretty dehydrated on this, and I was pretty out of it.
The queue for it is like a tin can, honestly, and in that heat, it was not pleasant. We didn't ride it again. I wanted to ride it again.
Yeah, I wish we could.
But like no, that queue was not bearable in that weather. I mean, I think the one at Magic Mountain was better, but I still really like the Batman layout, and I think it's.
Yeah, I'm not such a fan of the 2 vertical loops. Like I think they're one of my least favorite inversions.
I basically see Batman as a more refined and more well-knit Nemesis Inferno.
Okay, fair enough. I think I prefer Nemesis Inferno, honestly, to Batman.
Maybe if you ride the Magic Mountain one, you change your mind.
Yeah, I've heard people say the Great America Batman's really good as well, so...
Oh, yeah.
I've heard people say that this is one of the worst Batman clones, so I'm not going to take this as like a judgment of all of the Batmans.
Yeah, probably for the best, because, it's not even my favourite either.
Yeah. Should we go back
to... There are only 2 more coasters left to talk about.
There's a fair few... there's more than that.
Well, 2 major ones, let's put it that way.
Superman Ultimate Flight.
Boring as fuck.
I'd never done a pretzel loop before, and I'd heard people say that... I mean, you've done Tatsu's pretzel loop, which is supposed to be...
Tatsu's pretzel loop is like assault.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's so forceful, and it's massive. And being pulled over that on the back row is one of the few things that still like terrifies me.
Yeah, and our friend Zach says Manta's pretzel loop is one of the best inversions ever. Honestly,
no one Superman was just...
Yeah, I don't know, how much smaller is it compared to like Manta, and I know Tatsu's is obviously fucking huge, but is Manta's around? I
believe Manta's is around the same size.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it could be much bigger, because Manta's not that much taller than Superman, is it?
I think it's definitely taller. Well, you can look that up. We can look that up later.
I went into Superman expecting to like it more than Galactica, because as much as I appreciate the layout design in Galactica, I think the ride is kind of boring, and it's only really got interesting forces in the back row. However, I came off of Superman feeling even more bored than I ever came off on Galactica by like a significant amount. It's just so monotonous.
You drop
after that pretzel loop. It is boring as all hell.
I think the pretzel loop just wasn't for me, really. Like, it definitely had some force, but it wasn't amazing. I just found it kind of weird, and okay, we're on our back, and Have
you actually looked at Superman's layout from top down? It's literally drop pretzel, when it's just turn, and then there's the inline roll into the brake run, which again Galactica's is better.
I definitely prefer, because Galactica kind of, it uses the terrain, it weaves out of tunnels, and it has interaction with the path, and has the drop, and I definitely prefer Galactica by a massive margin. I think the flight alignment.
Superman, I just want to delete Superman. It's so mediocre. Yeah. Not to mention, it was actually, I think it was rougher than Tatsu.
Really? I didn't notice it was rough at all, honestly.
Well, it wasn't rough. It was a little bit rattly, let's put it that way, wasn't it? I mean, compared to Galactica, at least, because Galactica's maintained very well.
Yeah, I'd actually...
That's one of the few things you can say about the UK parks, really, is they maintain the B&Ms pretty fucking well compared to some of the US ones. Yeah. Not that, like, the US ones are unbearable, but there is a difference.
I didn't have an issue with any of the B&Ms here in terms of the smoothness of the ride. So...
I certainly did.
Right.
Are you forgetting one?
Oh, no, I'm saying at this park, not
at this park. I was going to say, like...
We'll get to the Carowinds episode at some point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't ride Joker, because I have a bit of a disorientation problem, where if my brain loses sense of what's up and down and gets completely flipped and thrown around, I completely just break down and can't stand up straight and throw up and all that nasty stuff. So I didn't ride Joker, which I wasn't that bothered about. I was happy to sit that one out. So I'm going to let you talk about Joker.
Yeah, I was really excited to ride this, because I've been on Green Lantern at Magic Mountain. I enjoyed it. I know that Green Lantern gets a lot of hate. And I say, it never works, the train's coming upside down. No, it's so painful and so unbearable. But I thought it was fine. I really liked how strong the forces were. Like, it was very different.
So how does Joker compare to that, then? Joker
is a watered down Green Lantern to the point where it was fun. I enjoyed it, but I kind of I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me. I didn't flip that much.
Right.
So obviously, there's that random element to it, but even when I did flip, it felt so controlled. Because you've got the magnetic brakes that sort of push you back and forth, which can get you to flip in places where you wouldn't. But on Green Lantern, the element of randomization was properly random. There were no magnets or anything stopping your rotation, so you could literally be doing anything at any time. Where some people might say that makes it more painful and more enjoyable, I just found that element more fun.
Right.
Compared to the... also S&S made it, and of course they managed to make a coaster that goes through a fucking 2-axis movement rattle like an absolute bitch as well.
Really? God.
Yeah. It was shaky. It was very shaky. Green Lantern was smoother.
Christ.
And also, thing is, a lot of people will talk about how Green Lantern's train is sometimes coming upside down. Apparently they do on the Joker clones as well, but nobody talks about it.
No.
So
is that what happened to you?
No, but we're friends with somebody who works at Over Texas.
Oh, okay.
Not gonna name them just in case, but they have said they have had multiple instances of a train coming in upside down.
Oh, shit.
It's like... shrug, I guess.
Yeah. We did Harley Quinn Crazy Train after that, I'm pretty sure. Just for the shameless credit.
We talked about Treetops in the previous episode at Oakwood. It's the same thing, minus what makes it fun.
They're quite fun. They are quite fun little... I think if as a young kid, they're pretty fun little rides. They've got some interesting...
When you come to Southend, you're going to not say that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Because the Tivolis at Adventure Island are something else compared to these.
Yeah, I think... So that leaves two indoor coasters.
Yeah, the 2 indoor coasters.
All right, Skull Mountain.
Skull Mountain is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh no, who made? I mean,
it's Intamin. It's an Intamin family coaster.
It does not look like an Intamin at all. It's not even remotely like 30. I mean, it kind of if you look closely, you can see a small resemblance to 13's
the trains are nothing like 13.
But other than I'm talking about the chassis, but like the actual look of the trains is completely different, and it's so odd. It's such a compact layout, and there's lights, there's really loud music. It's insane.
It's the only indoor coaster I've been on which is like completely pitch black. Like I could not see the track at all in that. I was like, and yeah, with my disorientation thing, I did feel a little bit queasy coming off. Not too bad, but yeah, I don't do well with motion like that. But saying that, it was pretty fun, pretty forceful, and there's that weird disco skull.
Yeah, I love it. It's just great fun, and it's like everything that happens to Skull Mountain is what I really loved about X at Thorpe Park with the lights and and effects and stuff. It's not like anything amazing, but it's just great fun and
yeah, that was very strange ride.
I made myself sad now. I thought about X.
let's not get onto that.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Dark Knight coaster.
Yeah, the Wild
I
Mouse.
really loved that.
Yeah, for a Six Flags park.
Yeah. And there's the pre-show bit, which nobody ever talks about. It's weird. It was surprisingly enjoyable and good.
It's surprisingly well themed. I will say that.
Yeah. And I hate saying this, but the fact that the pre-show on that feels comparable to the Ghost Train kind of puts into perspective how much it surprised me.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, either that's the Ghost Train pre-show being bad, or it's it depends.
Right.
Whatever way you look at it, it surprised me. I liked it. It was obviously like just made up of clips and stuff taken from like the Dark Knight film, but it worked. It was
yeah,
and going through the
even the trains,
going through like the queue line afterwards, it felt like a subway, and you had all the notes up on the wall, and the trains looked really good, and you had the noises, and going through the ride itself, the theming elements, while like they reminded me of Raptor Attack in a way. It was like Raptor Attack if it had more of a budget.
Yeah, that was one of the big surprises. I think that. One of the biggest surprises of the whole...
yeah, that was really... Like, nobody ever talks about it, but I really enjoyed it. Especially for, like, what it is. Like, good God. It's an indoor Wild Mouse at a Six Flags park that's got animatronics, lighting effects, music things, and a pre-show, and a really well-themed station. It's, like...
It's good, yeah. I think it's pretty good.
Okay, so should we move on to the evening?
Well, I think there's one more ride which you're going to want to talk about, which is Cyborg. Again, I did not ride Cyborg because spinning flat rides are big no for me. So I avoided that.
Cyborg was another ride that I was kind of looking forward to riding. However, because it's a flat ride a permanent flat ride at an amusement park, of course it has one of the most rubbish cycles ever, and I came off really disappointed.
Yeah.
That machine has so much potential,
and it just didn't.
But it's just run like ass, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we can get on to the evening now. There is one more ride, obviously, we're going to talk about, but that literally ends off the whole thing more or less.
Yeah, it does.
So we've been around the park a bit. We'd ridden Nitro a good few times. We'd gone back and ridden Toro, and it had gotten a lot better.
Yeah. So
we'd sort of done a bit of a back and forth between the park.
We were pretty
areas.
satisfied, and we were like, right, let's get some night rides to end this off. So we're going like,
let's go queue for car.
Yeah.
And we went for car. Side note, somebody else we know called Goat and the Coast Spot Discord, he was actually there the same day as us.
Yeah, which is weird.
We briefly met up with him in Bizarro. So he was in front of us in the queue for King the Car, but he was queuing for front row. And then, how did we find out?
Well, originally, I remember we were in the station and they stopped everything to take a train off.
Yeah, they took a train off.
It was on two trains.
It was going over pretty slow, actually, that train.
Yeah.
So then it went to one train ops, and it took them ages to transfer the train off. Like, it literally took like 20 minutes or more.
Yeah.
So by the time the train was off, it was proper dark.
So we were like, oh,
we're going
to get a night ride on the car.
One train. They ran one train full of people, and then everything just stops. And then you wonder what's going on. And then all of a sudden, you just see in the distance this flash of blue in the sky, and like everyone just sort of went, "Oh no!"
Oh God!
And then, surely enough, a guy came over the intercom and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, King Dakar is King to closed."
Yeah, that gave me a chuckle.
Due to nearby lightning storms. everyone's side. I felt so bad for Goat because he had not ridden King Dakar.
To be fair, he's been on Top Thrill Dragster, so it wasn't a massive loss for him. But I was pretty disappointed for him.
I would have been fucking gutted.
Yeah. If that happened to us, I would have been fucking devastated.
After that, it just turned into a sad story of us just meandering around the park and just sitting down, moping, hoping the storm might pass and looking at what's open. Oh, Dark Knight Coaster and Justice League. And then one of us had the idea to go over and ride Justice League to end off the day. Yeah. And that was a good decision in the end.
Well, you liked it. You liked it.
I liked it. It was a pretty good Dark Ride shooter. It was better than Voyage to the Iron Reef at Knott's. The animatronics in it were pretty good.
Yeah.
Shooting was alright. It was just a bit of fun.
The screens
better than a lot of the Dark Ride shooters have done.
Yeah, the screens and the 3D glasses made me feel pretty queasy. So I took the 3D glasses off and just didn't bother with the shooting parts in the end because it was just making me feel too ill.
Yeah, I feel it's unfortunate really because it was really fun to just
it was quite nicely. It felt quite clean and quite polished in there.
Yeah. Definitely one of the biggest highlights of Great Adventure was the fact I think that was the biggest meetup we had on the entire trip with our friends.
Yeah, the five of us, me, Max,
yeah,
you.
People that we've been speaking to for a long time over the internet, and now we're actually finally there at a park with them, talking about stuff and riding stuff with them. And
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was
such a surreal experience, honestly.
Yeah, other than the
that was the first place.
Yeah. Other than the disappointment of the weather, we had a good day.
And the heat.
Yeah, and the heat, obviously. We had a pretty good day. We had some ups and downs with the heat kind of killing us, but we got a good few rides on Nitro.
Yeah.
We got 5 or 6 rides on Nitro, I think, and 5 on El Toro.
Yeah.
4 or 5 on El Toro, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think
just as we left the park as well, it started to rain. So even if we had stayed, nothing would have opened.
No. Well,
so after this, we sort of reconvened at the Wawa afterwards. We had some food together, and we chatted with everyone, and we all split off and went our own way, and it felt really sad.
Yeah, seeing Vinny.
Because it was the first day of the park. It was the first park, but it's the first time we'd ever met these people. The fact that we'd flown all the way from the UK and we were able to see these people we've been speaking to for absolutely ages and over the Discord. It was quite a somber passing.
I mean, we saw Andrew the next day, but yeah, we had to.
Yeah, we saw more people afterwards, but yeah, the first visit, the first major meetup outside of the UK for us.
Yeah, but it was great.
Yeah,
we had a great day.
I'm so happy that it all worked out in the end.
Yeah,
obviously it had its ups and downs, but yeah.
So
what are your overall thoughts on the park? I've just gone over everything.
Oh God. It's a pretty tacky park. I'm not a fan of Six Flags branding, but there are some fantastic rides there. El Toro, King Dakar, El Toro, and Nitro are worth going. Make the park worth going to. They're all amazing rides. They're all great.
I mean, for me, it's good rides, shit park, and that's literally all you need to know.
Yeah, that's pretty much a summary of the park. Yeah.
So I think that brings us to the end of this one. Is there anything else you want to add quickly at the end?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know if the next podcast will be about continuing our America trip or if it'll be about something else.
I kind of want to continue our America trip up until at least halfway, and then we're thinking about doing an episode in between. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. Do you think we should just go through the whole America trip in one go, or should we split it up in the middle with another topic to make things a bit less repetitive and boring? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. We will read comments and respond to them if we can.
Yeah. Hopefully the next episode will be a bit longer than this one. I've noticed that this one's probably going to end up coming to under an hour.
No, we've been going for an hour and 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. But bearing in mind, you got to cut everything out.
Yeah, that's true.
The bloopers.
Okay.
But so the next one will be a bit longer than that because we've got 2 parks to talk about rather than just one.
Yeah.
And basic travel stuff. So stick around for that. I really can't wait to talk about Hershey Park.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, thank you for listening. Yeah, and we'll see you on the next episode.